Welcome back to another episode of Peak Efficiency Exercises, by far my favorite series on this channel, where we take exercises that require a lot of skill and have a lot of moving parts, break them down step by step, and go through all the benefits that these exercises have and can help you advance your fitness goals way faster than most exercises you will ever do at the gym. And in today's episode, we have one singular push-up variation that is going to absolutely change your life when it comes to both flexibility as well as strength and coordination, strengthening that mind-muscle connection and giving you a somewhat holistic experience of a movement pattern that is not often seen but has way too many benefits to be ignored. And that is going to be the bridge push-up. So if you're ready, let's check it out and break it down step by step. Starting with the flexibility requirements, we'll just start at our ankles and move our way all the way up to our shoulders and arms. If you want to go for the full range of motion of this movement, you will require at the very least your ankles being able to go into complete ankle extension. Now, besides doing classic calf raises, which are going to help you strengthen your calves while going through this ankle flexion and extension, the easiest way to work on your ankle extension is actually by sitting. Both legs in complete contact with the ground with extension in both of our ankles, and we're going to close those up and sit down, loading this stretch and increasing the pressure we have on our ankles, pushing them into extension. If you cannot sit comfortably in this position, all you need to do is elevate your butt, which is going to take some pressure off those ankles, and over time all you need to do is decrease the elevation or increase your range of motion, which is gonna add pressure again until you can sit down all the way, stretching your tibialis and lengthening your foot. This is taken care of, which moves us to a little bit more demanding flexibility problem, hip flexors, which a lot of people struggle with. For this one, we're gonna start in a seated position once more, with the added benefit of once again having this ankle extension, combining some of the requirements into one singular movement. We're gonna push forward from here, lengthening our hip flexors and our quadriceps. And while we are at it, just as a tiny bonus, we're gonna push our knee forward, adding some ankle flexion, just because we're getting really great at ankle extension and we wanna be able to take our ankles through a complete range of motion. Now we are lengthening our hip flexors, lengthening our quadriceps, we're flexing our glutes and our spinal erectors to push forward as much as we can, and we're gonna lean back slightly, actively pushing our hips forward. Now, while we're here, we can hold this stretch for 30 seconds. Additionally, we're gonna require a lot of flexibility in our quadriceps as well. If you do not have that, this is gonna hinder you in going through the entire movement. So while we are here, after holding for 30 seconds, we're gonna bring our right hand down to the ground, grab our foot, and start pushing forward from here, which is gonna move this stretch from our hip flexors and a little bit of our lower abdominals down to our quadriceps. Holding this while pushing your hips forward not only feels absolutely amazing, but is one of the most effective stretches you can do for your quadriceps and your hip flexors, because we're basically just mimicking a couch stretch with our leg in complete contact with the wall behind us. With this taken care of, let's move up to our abdominals and chest musculature. Now there is one stretch I not only enjoy doing a lot because it feels amazing, but it also puts together the last two exercises we have used, meaning we will advance our ankle flexibility, quadriceps and hip flexor flexibility in conjunction with our abdominals in one single move. We're gonna push our hips forward from here, and we're gonna try and grab both of our heels. This is level 1 of the exercise. You're gonna push forward, and if you do not feel any stretch whatsoever, now it is time to move down to level number 2, down on our elbows. What's really important here is that you don't just hang loosely, but you wanna actively push upward, lengthening your hip flexors, quadriceps, and lower abdominals, arching your back all the way. Once you do not feel any stretch here whatsoever, now you can move down on the ground. And once again, it's very important that we're not just laying there, but we are actively pushing upward to lengthen those parts while strengthening our entire posterior chain, which is gonna come in very handy once we get into the push-up itself. And for those of you who wanna add another level to this exercise, we can elevate our hips once more and slowly go down on our elbows, and take our time, bringing our head down all the way. This is gonna actively force us to arch even if we do not have the strength. And believe it or not, there is another level we can go through. We're gonna add a little bit of chest flexibility and lengthening our abs even more by pushing up and then slowly releasing again. Now, in between rounds of this stretch, what I would advise is moving forward into like a child's pose, for instance, where you are basically taking off all the pressure from your spinal erectors or your lumbar spine specifically, because we are arching really hard, and that's gonna put a lot of pressure. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds before you move back into the next repetition. Now, the only part missing from our flexibility requirements are our shoulders in conjunction with our chest, specifically above our head. Is start out in a quadrupedal position, lengthened the tiniest bit, of course, and we're gonna start pushing our chest down towards the ground from here, opening our chest and anterior delts, lengthening our biceps insertions and the surrounding muscles around our rotator cuff. And we can just hold it for 20 to 30 seconds. Adding from here, we're gonna move into what we call a downward dog position, basically just pushing with a little bit more load on our shoulders and our chest. And if you do not feel any stretch from here, you can move into a puppy pose, which is starting in a more lengthened position than we would have with the downward dog. And now from here, we're gonna actively push down as much as we can until our chest touches the ground. Absolutely amazing at opening up our chest and shoulders in this movement. Now we can move on to the strength aspects, and since this exercise is mostly a posterior chain strengthening exercise, the classic hip thrust is one of the best ways we can prime our body to get into this bridge push-up or the bridge position in general. Push up as much as you can, reverse and repeat. If this is too easy for you, once again, increasing our range of motion through elevation is gonna make the exercise harder, require a longer movement, and through that require a lot more strength. We're gonna go through 12 to 16 repetitions of hip thrusts, and then the last one, you're gonna hold it for 10, 20, 30 seconds if you can, release. And in this exercise, once more, because we are putting a lot of pressure on our lower back, we're gonna pull in our knees, lengthen our spinal erectors, take a deep breath before we move on to repeat. Now, the second exercise we'll be doing from here is one that has probably the shortest range of motion of any exercise you've done. Placing your hands right here with our fingers pointing towards our shoulders, and with our butt and back on the ground, we're just gonna elevate our upper back for a centimeter or two. It doesn't have to be very high. All it has to do is leave the ground. And you're gonna notice this tiny movement requires immense strength as well as control to hold it for longer periods of time. If you can, I would advise holding for 10 to 20 seconds, releasing, and repeating once more. And the last strength exercise we're gonna use, we're gonna lengthen our shoulders, round our back, and move forward with our shoulders by going into this diagonal position towards the ground with our arms. And from here, we're gonna close our arms and extend all the way. If you do not have the strength to go through this movement with your knees elevated, there's absolutely no problem in putting them down and trying to simulate this movement with this shorter or easier variation. And over time, once you are strong enough, you're gonna move into this semi-planche position, hollow your back, and repeat this movement. Now we are strengthening our delts, strengthening our triceps and our chest for the coming exercise. And now we can go into the bridge push-up itself. Getting into our starting position, we're gonna lay down fully. We're gonna pull our feet in, hold them a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and we're gonna leave a couple of inches between our heels and our butt. As for hand placement, fingers pointed towards our shoulders. Once more, elbows close together. First thing to leave the ground will be your hips. Once you have raised them the tiniest bit, we're gonna start adding upper body elevation as well. We're gonna push up. Once we're here, we're gonna try and go up onto our tiptoes. And now we're gonna lengthen our arms as much as we can, arching our back, and we're gonna let our head hang loose. Since we're not doing a bridge pose, but bridge push-up, that means that we're gonna work this dynamically. Lay down, take a second of a break, and push up once more. Up on your toes, and lower down. You can also, in between repetitions, just pull in your knees to take off pressure. Now you can see we're lengthening our entire anterior chain. We're strengthening our entire posterior chain, and we're doing so both dynamically, going through the push-up and reversing, and also statically. Once again, last repetition, hold for 5 or 10 or 20 or 30, depending on how much static exercises you want to add, as well as how much strength endurance in a static position you want to go for. Now, if you're starting out, a set of 2 to 3 repetitions is already a lot. And over time, you can start building the strength to go for 10 or 12 repetitions, and at the very end, hold the last rep. If you can add the bridge push-up to your own training repertoire, trust me, you will see a lot of benefits from that. Getting rid of hip tension, getting rid of back tension, because we are strengthening it, learning how to move an entire kinetic chain in one singular movement, all muscles connected into one pattern. If you like the video and subscribe, and please check out other videos on this channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. Captain Cairo. Peace out.